Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial series. Now we're going to be finishing up this project by creating a bomb. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to create the bomb and its bomb projectile, and we're going to handle any exploits or duplication glitches. So after this video, we're going to basically clean up the game and then it's ready to go. So first thing we want to do is we want to go to the entities section, and right here we have items. We want to add an item. So what we're going to be using is we're going to be using a consumable item. And I'll show you in a second why we're using a consumable. Or actually, let me just explain right now. We're using a consumable because this extra effect is automatically done for us. Remove when empty. It's true. And with a weapon or with another item, it doesn't automatically do that. So it's just convenient. And we're going to call this bomb. And let's go ahead and upload the bomb sprite sheet. So I believe there's one built into the game right here, this bomb. So go ahead and just upload that. And now you have this bomb. So you notice that there's entity variables and attributes on every entity, and there's an icon, inventory icon. So what's going to happen is if you don't put an inventory icon here, then this sprite sheet is just going to show up in the inventory, and we're going to see that in a second. All right, consumable. We're going to get to this in a second, but basically what we want to do is change this max quantity to be 1, because we only want one bomb to exist in the game, and anybody should be able to carry it, and anybody should be able to use it. Now, here's what we need to do. We need to go through all the settings and make sure that the only inventory slot that they're allowed to have the bomb in is the first inventory slot. And we also need to make sure that the unit cannot drop this item, they cannot trade this item, they cannot put this in the backpack, false for backpack allowed, and it rotates the mouse cursor. So all of these things should be true. Now, in the consumable section, we don't really have anything that we can use to throw the bomb. So what we have to do is we have to change this to weapon. So that's only going to change this tab right here. It's not going to change any of the other things. But yeah, go ahead and look at bonus, make sure there's nothing here. Go ahead and go to effects, make sure there's nothing here. And then this should be default. So now what we can do is go to weapon, go to range. Okay, we want to make a ranged weapon. And for now, leave this empty. We'll fix it in a second, but leave it empty for now. And make the bullet speed about 25. So this is not going to do too much yet because there's no projectile yet, but we'll deal with this in a second. Now the velocity method and recoil force is 0, delay before use. All of this is okay. So we can just leave this as is. Now, what would happen? Let me ask you guys a question. What would happen if I set this number to 100? Go ahead and pause the video and think about that. Alright, I hope you thought about that. Basically, if you set recoil force to 100, what's going to happen is it's going to push the person who uses the weapon backwards by a little bit. So that's kind of how the brains.io shotgun works, if you've ever used that. So I'm going to save and apply this really quick because we have to go ahead and go to the home unit real quick, and we have to change the inventory slot. Make sure this is 1, and make sure backpack size is 0. Now, there's a thing with the mod.io editor. If you go to play right now, you're going to notice there's one inventory slot, but there's still a backpack here. And that's because you have to republish the game. So for now, just ignore that. Alright, back to the bomb. So we have it as a weapon, and we don't have a projectile yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go create a projectile. So for now, just close that window, and go to projectile, add new projectile, and which one do you guys think you should be using here? Go ahead and pick the one you think is correct. Alright, I hope you pick the one that is a grenade, since we are making a game called Hot Grenade. And so this will be called Bomb Projectile, just to have a nice, easy to understand and remember name. And so for the sprite sheet, I believe there's a red grenade. We can just use that right here, this red bomb. So now, we have a lot of effects here, but now you might notice something really important down here, lifespan. How long this thing stays in the game. Well, we want this bomb to be there forever, so we can't really have that be a number, so we have to make it infinite. But there's a problem right now. Mod.io's editor has an issue with the number infinite for projectiles only. So in the future, this might work. So if you guys are watching this video way in the future, maybe try infinite. Maybe this works. But if it doesn't work, come back here and just make it 100,000. So there should be a comma right here, but 100,000. That is 100 seconds because the game only lasts for 60. And then right here, and right here. I'm just showing you guys those effects, make sure they're the same. And there you go. So that's the bomb projectile. So what we have to do now is go to our item, and we have to create the projectile type right here. So bomb projectile. There we go. So now, here's what's going to happen. We have a bomb projectile that only exists as this bomb projectile. But what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and give our homie unit, or actually, there's a good way to test this. I'm going to show you guys how to test items using shops. Go ahead and add a new shop for now. So this is temporary shop. We will delete later. And we want to add an item called bomb and make it free. So just don't touch anything on it. Just keep it as is. And what we're going to do is go to our homie. And I want you guys right now, pause the video and go ahead and create a shop that's opened when you press B. Alright, so I hope you guys made a open shop script. So what you do is you go to abilities, you create a new script right here, and you just call it open shop. And then what we do is we open the specific shop we want to open. So we want to currently open the temporary shop that we're going to delete later. And we're going to open it for who? Who are we using? Who needs to be opened the shop for? Go ahead and pause the video and figure out who this is for. Alright, here's who you do it for. You do it for the owner of this entity because we are in an entity script. So I hope you guys are becoming more familiar with this as we have gone on through these videos. But yeah, so this is going to open the temporary shop. So now we need to save and apply. And now we can close this window. And right here, B pressed. When you press B, run the script open shop. So this is just a way to test it out. We're going to delete all of that later. But for now, we just need to test it out. So now if you guys press B, you'll see that we can buy a bomb. And now I have this little purple bomb. You notice that its sprite sheet is invisible, and we've already talked about how to fix that. But first, let's launch it and see what happens. You notice that both mine and Sanatam's bombs went in a certain direction. So they worked as intended for now. What we need to do is when we touch the bomb, we make it so that the player is going to do, this projectile is going to delete and give the bomb to the player that touched it. So it's kind of like hot potato. If you touch it, you grab it. That's how this works. So what we're going to do is first we're going to republish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a entity script under the projectile, which is going to delete the projectile, but also give the person that touched it a new projectile. So how do we do that? Well, we make an entity script. So what we're doing is I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video and create an entity script underneath bomb projectile. Okay, bomb projectile. And create a brand new script, figure out what the trigger should be, and make it so that when you touch the new projectile, it will destroy the projectile, and it's going to give whoever touched it a new projectile. Alright, so I hope you guys did that. So I'm going to just look for the trigger first. This entity touches unit, because we're touching a unit. And what we want to do is name the script entity, okay, this entity touches unit. Nice and easy. And so there's one thing I want you guys to always remember. So even if you did it correctly and all of it works right now, I want you to add this thing if you did not add it. A unit type comparison. Make sure that the unit type of the triggering unit, the last touching unit, is equal to homie. Because we're specifically asking for it touching a homie. Because what if we make a brand new unit and it's maybe like a box that you want to be interactable, right? Well, that box is going to then grab the bomb, and then we're going to have a bug. So make sure you're always checking the correct unit. And then if you're touching unit, a homie, then what we're going to do is we're going to destroy the projectile, triggering projectile, or this entity, my apologies, this entity, because that's the entity script. But before we do that, we have to give a new item to the triggering unit. We need to give a brand new bomb to the triggering unit, the touching unit. So go ahead and remember, if you do it in this order, it's going to work because this entity is being deleted, but this has nothing to do with this entity. So I know in previous videos I said make sure you do this, but in this case it works either way. But just to go with the flow, go with the trend previously, I'm going to put it beforehand just to show you guys. So now I'm in the game, I'm gonna buy a bomb and I'm gonna throw it at Sonatum. And Sonatum should have one. There you go. Now throw it to me. Look at that. Now we can play catch. So now, Sonatum, could you go ahead and create an alternate account and spawn it in the game? Go ahead and spin, if yes. Awesome. So while Sonatum does that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to work on creating a way to prevent duplication of the bomb. Because what we need to do is demonstrate that right now, the bomb is going to duplicate whenever we shoot it at multiple players that are next to each other. So in order to prevent that from happening, we need to create what's called a global variable that watches everything. So if you ever want to prevent duplication, the way you do it is by creating global variables. Global variables are run by the server, and the server in all programming languages has the last say. So if there's a bunch of physics going on and it's all over the place for the client and the server, then the server is going to say, wait a minute, I don't understand what's going on, but you guys need to listen to me. So that means if we create a variable called isCaught, which means is the bomb caught by somebody already, we can use this to track whether somebody has the bomb or not. So here's what I did. I created a boolean, which is a true or false value for isCaught. So go ahead and make it false initially. All right, so here's our user. So go ahead, Sonatum, give me the bomb. Thank you so much. So here's what I want to do. I want to have the user and Sonatum stand like this next to each other over here in a row. So this is where I'm standing. Yeah, perfect. Um, okay, so while Sonatum does that, what we're gonna do is we're just going to go through the entities and let's take a look. So we have create new bomb, we have explode bomb, but we have every second. Right now we need to make sure that isCaught is always false, right? In order to do that, let's first prevent duplication. So currently we have a couple bugs that we need to fix. So right now, if a player leaves while holding the bomb is lost forever. So we need to make it so that when the player leaves, if they have the bomb, it's not lost forever. So let's do that first right now. If item currently held by unit is equal to bomb, then create a projectile at its leaving location. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if the item type of the item currently held by the select unit is equal to bomb, then I want you, and remember, this is selected unit and we're destroying it, so we have to put it beforehand. If it's a bomb, if this person is holding a bomb when they leave the game, then we want to create a projectile at the position right after they leave. Or actually, no, at the position of where they are standing. So we create a bomb projectile at position of this unit. My apologies. So here's what we do. We press select the unit and we apply 0 at 0. There you go. So now you have created a bomb projectile that is going to be made in place of if the player leaves. So if the player leaves, the bomb is not lost. Now let's fix one more hole, which is duplication. So duplication is a more complicated, or actually there's one more that we can do that's a little easier. If you go to every second script and you go to this if statement, if the human player is greater than 0, well, if the players are less than 0 and there's a bomb in the game, when the game starts, there's going to be a bug because there's multiple bombs. So what you want to do is underneath the else statement of this. So if human players is greater than 1, do this stuff. But otherwise, if it's not greater than 1, then what we want to do is we want to destroy all the items and projectiles in the game. So for all items in an item group, for all items in the game, right here, all items in the game, do this for every item basically. Destroy this selected item. There you go. And then what you want to do is run one more for projectiles. So I want you guys by yourself to create a projectile destroying script. Destroy all the projectiles in the game with 2 lines. One action that creates a loop and another action that destroys the selected projectile. Alright, so while you've done that, for all projectiles in a projectile group, this is the answer. For all projectiles in the game, and it's really, really similar to the item one. That's why I wanted you guys to do that on your own, just to try to see if you can figure these things out. And instead of selected item, I want you to replace that with selected projectile. So projectile, just type that, and you'll find selected projectile. Alright, so there, I'm going to stay on the screen for a second so you guys can look at it. Now I'm going to just come back up here. And now, let's just save and apply. So now we can do a demonstration of how duplication works in this game right now. So if I look at SunAtom and use it right now, and I'm holding this one bomb, if I throw it at the center of them, SunAtom, could you move up a little? Just a tiny bit. Yeah. So if I throw it right here at the center, it's going to give both of them one bomb. Oh, look at that. I think they need to stand closer to each other. So go ahead and give me the bomb again. And just stand closer to each other. A little closer. Here, I'll move you guys. So here's what's going to happen. You notice both of them have a bomb. So we need to fix this bug. Because now there's 2 bombs and everything is mayhem. Because now there's too many explosions. So here's how you do that. And even if you like that there's multiple bombs because of this bug, you can keep it in a different version. But I do encourage you to follow along so you understand how to fix this if you don't want it in a different game. So here's how you do it. We need to use our variable isCaught. Our Boolean variable isCaught. We have to make sure that every time somebody holds the bomb, we make isCaught equal to true. And whenever somebody is letting go of the bomb, we make it false. So right here, let's go to our entity scripts for the bomb projectile. And we created this script that whenever an entity touches this unit, we're going to give that triggering unit a bomb. Well, guess what? That means isCaught is true because somebody has a bomb. So right here, we can set variable. Right here, set variable isCaught to, could you guys guess what this is? That's right, true, because somebody caught the bomb. And you guys can put this anywhere you want because this doesn't affect any of these other scripts. But I'm going to put it above the destroy just because it's good to do that in general. So now there's a way to see if the bomb is caught. But what about when somebody throws the bomb? How do we check that? Well, could you guys think of a way that we could check when the bomb is no longer caught when somebody throws it? Pause the video and try to see if you can figure out where that is. Alright, so I hope you figured it out. It's in the entity scripts. It's right here under start using item. When a homie unit starts using an item currently held, then if the item that they're holding, so the item type of the item currently held, if they're currently holding, if this entity is currently holding a bomb, what do we do? What do we put inside this if statement then? Go ahead and pause the video and put something there that you think is correct. Alright, well, we need to put that isCaught is false because now the bomb has no longer been caught. So what's going to happen is now that we have this in play, how do we use isCaught at all? Because all we did is just change it from true to false whenever somebody throws a bomb. Well, here's what you do. In the entity script that has to do with the bomb projectile right here, whenever somebody is trying to catch the bomb, we only do it if is caught is false. So that means inside this if statement, we need to put another if statement, and we need to say if is caught is false. So is caught is false. And did you notice I used a global variable in order for the server to use it? That's the reason why we use the global variable, not an entity variable. If you use an entity variable, it's not going to work. If you use a player attribute or entity attribute or player variable, none of those are going to work because they don't have the last say. The server does. So global variables are good ways to have the last say. So check this out. What does this say? Is caught is false, make a new bomb. If it's not false, do not make a new bomb. So now let's see if this works. Alright, we're going to have to republish the game for this one because the logic might have been messed up when we threw the bomb around. So I'm going to republish the game really quickly. And what we're going to do is we're going to have SunAtom create an alternate account as well as their usual account, and they'll join the game, and we'll throw a bomb at the center of them. So while SunAtom is doing that, let's just take a look at the rest of our code and just make sure everything is clean. So we have a shop, we have a way to buy bombs. So what we're going to do actually while SunAtom is loading is we're going to buy a bomb. Oh my. So it seems like bomb is going away immediately. So we need to look at our scripts and make sure that there's nothing wrong. So if bomb is going away immediately for you, make sure that is used on pickup is false. But at the same time, make sure that there is a bomb projectile that's created on usage. And make sure that inventory, all of these things are the same. So if you are continuing to have this issue that we are having right now, what you should do is try to, not quite sure what the issue is. Okay, I'm not quite sure what the issue was there. I think I might have been holding my mouse down too long. But as you can see right there, there's a user. So we need two of them. What we're going to do is we're going to move this user to over there. And we're just going to use them to show that duplication no longer exists. Because we created a server variable that's going to tell the server that there's already a bomb. So we don't need to make another one. So yeah, come over here, SunAtom. And what you want to do is you want to just go next to the user. As close as possible. Uh-oh. Here, let me help you out. And then we'll just move them down to there. So now they're right next to each other as before, but now when I throw a bomb, look what happens. There's only one person who has a bomb, the user. So we basically fixed this issue. There's no longer duplication of both users getting the bomb. And so we fixed our duplication error. And so that is creating the bomb item. And so that's the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.